changing. And the mobile app basically enables them to access the tool without internet connection, and they can later upload the details whenever they have the internet connection, mostly when they go back to their offices. Now, this is how DevelopmentCheck works. First and foremost, the monitors need to go to the field and collect data regarding specific projects. Once they've collected this data, they will go ahead and enter this data into the tool. After they've entered the data, we have a moderator in the monitoring organization, for instance, NTA. This moderator takes a look at the data to ensure that the data is correct, complete, and consistent, just to ensure that we have the correct information uploaded. After that, the organization informs us at Integrity Action, and we take a second look at the project, and just to validate the data and ensure we have correct data uploaded and that the data is consistent. After we are all happy with the information, we go ahead and publish the project. Until the project is published, it is not, the public is not able to view the project online. Once the project is published, then it goes public. This is an example of a project uploaded by NTA. When you go to the site, you'll view a page which has a brief summary of the project in the About the Project section. And in the right-hand corner at the top, you can see the logo of the organization which has uploaded this data, because we have different organizations uploading data to the website. So this particular project was uploaded by NTA. And below here, we use the traffic lighting rating system to rate the project, the 3 different areas of the project: access to information, community engagement, and effectiveness of the project. We rate the different areas using the lighting system. Where you see the green light, it basically indicates that everything was okay. For example, in access to information, if you see a green light, it shows that the monitors were able to access all documents relating to the project. Where you see the orange light, it shows that things were okay, not so good, not so bad. For example, if the monitors were able to access some documents and they were not able to access other documents. And where you see the red light, it indicates that the situation was very bad. They were unable to access any documents at all. As you all know, most of the monitors will tell you you have to take pictures and have evidence and proof of your monitoring data just to show that it's correct representation of what you found on the ground. So the tool also allows you to pick this, because we encourage the monitors to, if you are able to access any document at all, they upload these documents in the website. As you can see, there is a budget, the contract agreement, bill of quantity. Now, these documents become public, and anyone who goes to the website is able to access these documents and have a look at them once the project is published. Below here, you see the pictures of the project. This is actually how the project looks like on ground. After that, the monitor then submits the project. When the monitor submits the project, the project is saved as a draft, and it is sent for approval. That's where the moderator from the monitoring organization looks at the project details, and if there are any changes or any incorrect information, that's where they make the changes. And then after they're happy with what they have, we at Integrity Action give the project another look, and just to ensure that the project information is correct. After that, we publish the project and it goes live on site. The app The procedure is the same for the app, but for you to use the app, you need to have a smartphone or a tablet that meets specific requirements. For example, it's only available for Android devices because the app can only be downloaded. Currently, we have the app only available at Android App Store. So once you've searched for DevelopmentCheck in the App Store, you download and install it. After you've downloaded it and installed it, you use the username and the password we had provided for your organization to log in. After you've logged in, the process of adding monitoring information and project information is just the same as the website. So that's all about the website. If you have any question or any interest, please feel free to contact NTA or Integrity Action. Thank you.
If you don't have the login credentials, when you go to the website, this is how it appears. As Judy has mentioned, the focus is on 3 areas: access to information, community engagement, and effectiveness and satisfaction of the projects by community monitoring. So what you do, you search for the project that has been monitored. For instance, if you want to look at Mr. Daniel Oyoyo's school, Ngere Primary School, Ngere Primary School, then you search the country. These are the other countries that are using the application. We have Cote d'Ivoire, Congo, Afghanistan, Liberia, Nepal, and those others. So Kenya is there, so you select Kenya. Then the sector that the project is in, that is education, and then you search. So it should be able to bring up Ngere Primary School as a project that we monitor. So as you can see down here, this is the project. So it was construction of 3 classrooms at Ngere Primary School. That is the project. And as you can see, the tool, the application itself uses GIS, and you can be able to locate the project on the world map. As you can see, that is where the project is at. It's in Homa Bay County, and Homa Bay is usually to the western part of Kenya, where Lake Victoria is. So you can see that is where the project is. And this is the project information that we collected about the project. As you can see, it was awarded that amount of money. Then there's more information about the project itself. And then on the 3 areas that we are focusing on, access to information, we check, did our monitors access project documents on site or not? Or when they visited the CDF office, were they able to access information? Or even the CDF board or any other relevant office, did they access the information? So you are able to see, as Judy had mentioned, the traffic lights. When it's green, that is good. When it's red, that is bad. When it's amber, then it's partial. So those are the same ones we are using. So in this case, access to project documents was partial. And then was the community involved in project design? They were involved in project implementation. They were involved. If there are problems, these were the number of problems that were identified, and we are working on them to be resolved with the relevant stakeholders as well. And when you go to this other tab, you will get media. Media now is the photos that were taken, and this also includes videos. If any video was taken, it's uploaded over here. So as you can see, these are the photos of the school itself. And during the constructive engagement, we were told that so much has changed. When you go to the school, you will not see these structures as they are now, but it's a total facelift. The work that we did in terms of monitoring, we were able to lobby the CDFC to complete construction of this classroom. So when we go back to the field, we'll get photos and upload to see, so that you can be able to see the difference from before and after now. And then if there are projects, there are also project documents, they are also uploaded. and that is the tab for project documents. So in short, that is it for that one project.
As the speakers before me have said, what we did is a pilot. We piloted using the application in 2 constituencies in Homa Bay County. But what I want to share is some of the observation that we found out on the ground. And I want to emphasize that we will not just go out and monitor 2 constituencies. That might be some of the concerns. But for us to be able to know if the tool can be applied, can be used, and if NTA can be able to adopt it, then we had to pilot it in 2 counties. What will follow is a much more work in terms of scaling up the project to not just constituencies as a member of parliament was concerned, but now to counties. But we have some lessons that we need to learn. Of course, using the 2 constituencies, we can be able to see if the picture is across the country. But I'll tell you that using those 2 constituencies, we are seeing a bigger picture of what is happening across the country. And that is what I want to share, plus what we, some of the observations that we made in those particular 2 constituencies. One is about when we were using the tool. We realized that the tool has accuracy of data collection because the application actually captures the location. Sometimes we be launching reports and a member of parliament stands and says, this project does not belong to my constituency. When you go to the map, you will find this particular project in its exact location on the ground. So that somebody saying that this project does not belong to my constituency or my county, it cannot happen. We'll be able to use that information to be convinced. Then guaranteeing easy access to information to all stakeholders. From this particular workshop, you'll be given a link and you can actually log in and be able to see all those projects that we did monitor. And this information is publicly available everywhere, anywhere in the world. You can actually be able to see this information. So that it does not just about the launch. We give you either we give you a report. If you don't get a report, that is all. This information is available to anybody anywhere in the world, as long as you can be able to access internet.
I really must thank you for asking me to come and make a few remarks here. Because part of my wish is now being fulfilled. My wish that accountability in Kenya must be brought down right to the ground. And that's a wish which I'm really attached to, and I'm trying to make sure that this office, my office, is also changing accordingly. Now, I will say how my office is changing, but let me just give you briefly what the mandate is in a very brief sense. As you know, since the new constitution, Kenya basically operates in 2 levels of government, which actually makes it to be one major government with some mini 47 Kenyan governments, which I have the duty to audit. At the national level, you have all the ministries, you have the corporations which are attached to the ministries, you have the projects which are attached to the ministries, you have the national treasury, which is where your money is raised and is budgeted. You have the debt, the money we borrow from outside. Then you can then go down to, at the national, you have the universities, you have the institution, you have corporations. Then at the county level, you have now the county executive level, you have county executive budget, you have the MCA budgets, you have the sub-counties, but also what were the former local authorities, the towns and so forth, and the water bodies and so forth. And this is just to give you a broad of the picture of the mandate, and it is wide. It is wide. And this mandate also requires, under Article 229(4), that I, the Auditor General, should confirm that the resources have been lawfully and effectively used. Mark that word, lawful and effectively used. So this means really from my office that we really have to start to think about the responsibility to the Kenyan in a different way, the responsibility in accounting for this money and resources in a different way. Because the Kenyans wanted resources to go lower to them, and it has gone there, and it is going there. And I think devolution is something which will have to stay and will have to reinforce. And that means I have to also think about this, the premise upon which I'm looking at what my responsibility is and the auditing. Hitherto, most people see the office as one which comes after so many years to tell us monies were wasted after 3-4 years. But that really is not responding to the spirit of the Kenyans in terms of accountabilities which they sought to have in the new constitution. And I believe that the spirit which the Kenyans had in the new constitution, they wanted the Auditor General to ensure that the money are collected from you are there, accounted for, and even as they budget for that money, it's budgeted properly, and you've participated, and that these monies have been recorded, the books, it's okay, but that these monies have been managed in a lawful and an effective way. In other words, these monies have gone to you, Kenyans, to transform your lives. And these are the sort of things which I'm hearing here is really music to my ears. And it's really, as I said, is responding to my wish and seeing how the accountability will change. And therefore, this office, I tell my staff, our auditing principle will have to begin. It will be an auditing principle which is based on trying to see this money from where it is raised, it comes in, is budgeted for, it goes down to the lower level, up to where it hits the ground. So we are going to audit to where the shilling hits the ground. And of course, this is a gigantic task. Can never have, in fact, even enough resources, enough staff to be able to follow all the shilling that hits the ground. And that means I've also now have to decide how best I will leverage the resources, the scarce resources, to work in a way that I will produce smart audits, quick audits, that resonates with where the shilling has hit the ground. In other words, resonates with Wanjiko or Atieno or Wamboi, whatever, on the ground. And that means, first of all, I have to have certain leverages. I must leverage heavily on the ICT, and which is the good news which I'm hearing here. The ICT, we are investing heavily in the ICT. You know, luckily, the government is also trying to integrate the system and go more, as you say, digital. I am determined to ensure that I also invest in tools which will enable me realize my dream for seeing the monies where it's, how it is filtering down to the ground. You are well aware that there's a system of IFMIS where this money is a platform. And I think in a manner of speaking, IFMIS would be, to me, like the highway between, say, Nakuru and Nairobi. The cars are budgeted and are put off at a start at Nakuru. They are supposed to arrive in Nairobi. My auditing up to now has been, I audit the cars which have arrived in Nairobi, but I don't see what's happening to those cars, how the ones are being diverted to Gilgil and wherever. I've never had the capacity, and therefore I've invested in tools which should allow me to start seeing those cars and seeing these financial transactions as they are budgeted and they start being spent, how they are going, and then therefore being able to trace them to where they drop down. And therefore we are developing tools whereby if you take the ministry's budget on education, we should be able to know what was the cake which was led for the education at the national level, what dropped down to the various, well, the amount which goes to the counties we know, but then within the counties, what amounts have also been budgeted for the various areas, health, education. And so we can actually see the shilling dropping down. to the extent that we should be able then, because there is a strong citizen participation in the budgetary process, we should be able to know what the citizen actually wanted, like they wanted a school built, we know it is there, and therefore we can come back and see in the budget of the county whether the school was budgeted and built. So I should be able to see that, and this is where now we are changing our culture. We are changing our culture because my staff now have to be taught that we are tracing that shilling to where it hit the school, because we now can see it with ICT, so that we can do work, follow the shilling dropping down at certain levels, and then at a certain level where it hits the ground, try and combine with the now participants like yourselves. Because that's when, after I've done it, I can say, no, I can't be all over the county, but I need now to have a system whereby I can partner with individuals and with civil society in a way that partly I should be able to pay for them to do work for me on the ground. So I will be seriously looking for money to be able to source out Kenyans of integrity, of credible, people who have retired, but people who are on the ground, people who are seeing the shilling hitting the ground. So these people can actually come on my retainership so that I can work with them. Because what my hope is I should be now getting reports with that system, which are very smart, short, sharp, but responds to the concerns of the person wananchi on the ground. So I'm looking forward for such a system whereby I'll be able to pick in a county amount which was budgeted for that education, for that school, and be able to do work with the civil society, get a report which will basically say, this is the amount which this county budgeted for this road. This is the amount which I've seen spent on the road. On the road, what do we get? The factors we've been looking at. Abandoned projects, abandoned schools, and all that. And being able to actually state exactly what amount has been wasted. Because that report will be coming from the people on the ground. And this report, I hope, once I say this is the amount budgeted and what I see on the ground is nothing abundant, I can only simply say the people who are responsible for that are the county executive of this, county executive of this, the engineer of this. And I would love to hear the day when that statement can be read after the news in the our various languages, our various ethnic languages, so that the ordinary lady, my grandmother, can resonate with what the auditor is saying. So this is the dream which I have. It's not a dream, it is a reality, because when I look at the tools you are developing here and the investment I'm putting in the tools, because the tools I'm developing will mean after a certain point where it hits the ground, I can jump the fence and link into your system. And I can leverage, because there's an immense amount of data out there which I can leverage on, such that when I'm doing the audit, already